remember in the book too, it says the bigger the piece of meat, the longer you should let it rest. You see how this looks kind of red in here? Everybody hates poultry or chicken that's red, but this is fully cooked. The issue is that the heat hasn't really neutralized, so all of that remaining juice is still right on the surface, so when you cut into it, it's the first thing that comes out. If we were to let this rest for 30 to 40 minutes, that would go back into the meat. The meat would be a little juicier, and the temperature would equalize, so you wouldn't see as much of that. You have some guests that kind of doubt your cooking skills, you might want to do that so that they don't say, hey, you're serving me raw chicken or raw turkey. It's definitely not. We took a temperature on this, and if you guys saw that little thing that popped up, remember what temperature is our turkey or game bird done at?
165.
165 is when it's done, and what temperature does that thing pop open at?
185.
Yeah, so it's overcooked if you wait for that thing to pop up. Now everybody has a different way to cook this. One other thing that I love to do, right? We've straight up roasted this bird, right? And when we talk about roasting it, what we think about is really just cooking it until it's golden brown on the outside and done on the inside. But we have so many more cooking techniques we can use. Like we could braise it, we could steam it. Some of the best, most juicy, flavorful turkey I've ever had is turkey that's gone way over that 185 that we just talked about. And actually, what you do there is you let the heat of the oven and the heat of the steam braise the turkey, so it's almost falling off of the bone. And that's just a different way to cook the turkey, and you're looking for a different thing. So
that's all I do.
Something to think about is like once you guys get those cooking techniques under your belt, and once you've tried them on things like chickens or other types of foods, you can try to adapt what you know. I mean, everybody knows how to roast a turkey right now. Maybe you decide, hey, I'm going to take one of these other cooking techniques like braising and see how a turkey comes out braised. It's a big piece of meat. It has some connective tissue. It can sometimes be tough. This might be a perfect piece of meat to braise once we go into the braising chapter and we learn all about braising.
I want like a fried turkey.
Yeah, frying is nice, right?
You and your food.
So I guess we know now why she's in the class. Huh?
Yeah, for real.
She's like, I didn't see that on the admission paperwork. Where does it just say, I love to eat? So another thing too, as you do more and more of the same thing, you start to learn the little tricks. That wing trick that I was telling you here, see how this wing naturally wants to sit back here? If I just cut straight down where I need to make that cut, I might nick the wing. And it's always good to have pieces in whole form so that when you display them or when you put them onto buffets or whatever it might be that you're doing with that piece of meat, it looks like you kind of knew what you were doing with it. Just get it. So these are 2 boneless turkeys, right? The bones are here, and I say boneless, they're semi-boneless. They do have some bones in them that we can remove, like the thigh bone and all of that, but these are perfect for making our stock. Remember this plastic piece that they put in there to make it easier to truss? We're just gonna get rid of that piece because we wanna actually cook these in the broth and make a little bit of a stock. So we don't wanna cook that plastic flavor.
You didn't need to cook in the time? I'm over here working on my resume.
Alright. Now the next thing up would be actually taking some of these bones out and making it go from semi-boneless to boneless. The wing is easy enough to do, the breast is easy enough to do. I think the tougher one is going to be the leg. Sharon's good at finding those pieces. Alright, so you have a couple of bones in the leg. It's pretty basic. It's the thigh bone, which runs from the knee to the hip. That was that joint that we exposed. So if you're gonna debone the thigh, the first thing you wanna think about is, where's that thigh bone? The longer you cook this turkey, the more tender this part of the turkey is gonna be. This is the part that I think naturally would lend itself towards braising. So it might just come out. I mean, you might have a really well-finished turkey if you can just grab it, twist it, and pull it out. But chances are just by roasting, yeah, it's not quite tender enough to do that. So we're just gonna cut around this bone where the meat is, see if we can expose enough of it without destroying the larger chunks of meat. See how I'm kind of picking it up now, separating that out. A lot of chefs will turn the knife over and actually scrape the meat off so that they know for sure that they're just removing the bone. See how I'm kind of separating that out right there? That's the joint. So that's going to be the next round of trying to find a joint. It's for anyone that ever wanted to be a doctor. This is like doing a little bit of ACL surgery.
Serial killer.
You had to go there, huh? You had to go there. Are you okay? We're talking about Thanksgiving and happy fun, and you're like...
Sometimes they're carving up bones. I mean...
Okay. So then you have your semi-boneless turkey thigh, which is nice because you can just slice that if you're going to serve dark meat and keep the drumstick. Cool. All right. Now, who wants to add 2 quarts of water to our chicken stock where I just put those bones in?
Water from the sink?
Yeah.
The testers.
Gotta taste test it. How do you know chef's not lying? You can't take chef's word that it's delicious.
Moist. Seasoned.
Put some
2 quarts of water to this?
Let me give you some.
Yeah.